Welcome back to Something in the Shadows. Today we have 5 gruesome facts about Edmund Kemper. Subscribe to the channel for weekly videos. Fact number 1. He mutilated cats during childhood. From a very young age, Kemper targeted and mutilated cats in his neighborhood. Former FBI Special Agent John Douglas revealed that Kemper would bury a cat alive, then dig it up before decapitating the creature and impaling its head on a stake. When he was 13 years old, he also killed his pet cat with a machete, and he hid the remains in his bedroom, which his horrified mother later discovered. For young serial killers, often abusing animals is their first experience at releasing tension. They start the process known as victim selection and take their frustrations out on the only thing often more vulnerable than themselves, an animal. Later, in their criminal career, the aggression will escalate, and they begin to prey on humans. Kemper was no exception. He did seek help from school counselors, but this was not beneficial, as he revealed, "When I was in high school, I was called a chronic daydreamer, and I saw a counselor twice during junior high and high school, and that was very routine. They didn't ask me a lot of questions about myself, and that was probably the most violent fantasy time I was off into." Fact number 2. He killed his grandparents because he was bored. At the age of 15, Kemper ran away from his mother to avoid her abuse and decided to track down his father. But he was rejected by him also. Instead, he was shipped off to live with his paternal grandparents on their farm in the California mountains. Kemper said he lived in complete isolation with his senile grandfather and my grandmother, who thought she had more balls than any man and was constantly emasculating my grandfather and me to prove it. He added, "I couldn't please her. It was like being in jail. I became a walking time bomb, and I finally blew. It was like that the second time with my mother." In August 1964, Kemper shot his grandmother in her kitchen with a hunting rifle, and when his grandfather returned, he was also shot and killed him. Panicked, Kemper then called his mother, and she urged him to tell the police. When the police arrived, he told them, "I just wanted to see how it felt to shoot grandmother." Fact number 3. He was one of the 3 killers in Santa Cruz at the time. Edmund Kemper was not only the only active serial killer in the Santa Cruz area in the early 70s, 2 other men, Herbert Mullen and John Lynn Frazier, were also active in that area. The police even suspected Mullen of having killed 2 of Kemper's victims, while Kemper was initially a suspect in one of Mullen's killings. The police definitely had several investigative issues related to the 3 active murderers at the same time. Mullen and Kemper both killed in very gruesome ways, and Mullen was eventually convicted on 10 counts of murder, in which he was sentenced to life in prison. The 2 serial killers had some interaction while in custody. While in neighboring jail cells, Kemper performed what he called behavior modification treatment on Mullen by giving him peanuts whenever Mullen was good. He sometimes bothered other prisoners by stinging, so Kemper splashed water on him. Mullen is still incarcerated and not eligible for parole until 2021. John Lynn Frazier was a mass murderer who shot and killed the doctor, his wife, 2 sons, and the doctor's secretary, which led to his conviction and death sentence in 1971. After California abolished the death penalty in 1972, his sentence was commuted to life in prison. His odd, religious behavior was revealed in the note he left behind at murders, part of which said, "From this day forward, anyone and or everyone or company of persons who misuse the natural environment or destroy same will suffer penalty of death by the people of the free universe. I and my comrades from this day forth will fight until death or freedom against anyone who does not support natural life on this planet. Materialism must die, or mankind will stop." He was found dead, hanging from his cell in 2009 at the age of 63. With such prolific murderers in the area, Santa Cruz was dubbed the murder capital of the world. And all this while California itself was flush with serial killers. The Zodiac Killer, the Night Stalker, the Manson family, the Hillside Strangler, and several more were active during the 60s and 70s. Was it something in the water? Fact number 4. He murdered his mother in the most brutal way. The rage and disdain Kemper felt for his mother finally reached a boiling point in April of 1973. On Good Friday, his mother, Clarnell Stage, returned home after a night of drinking and began arguing with her son. Kemper then entered her bedroom and bludgeoned her with a hammer before cutting her throat with a knife. He then decapitated the body, and later revealed he pinned the head to the wall and screamed at it for an hour whilst throwing darts. He also confessed to ripping out her voice box, which he deemed appropriate as she bitched and screamed at him so much over the years. After hiding the body parts around the house, his mother's close friend came over to the house and he strangled her to death too. Later he said, "I certainly wanted for my mother a nice, quiet, easy death like everyone else." Kemper targeted women as they reminded him of his mother and his overall hatred for women. He stabbed or strangled his victims and would later decapitate and dismember the corpse. Several discarded body parts were found washed up on the shore. He buried a head in his mother's backyard. The other heads he kept as sickening serial killer trophies. Fact number 5. He terrified FBI agent Robert K. Ressler during an interview. Stanford psychiatrist Donald Lund interviewed Kemper from 72 to 73. The guards would lock them both in a small room, and a panic button under the table would alert them when they were finished. Lund said, "I laughed at the notion that he might attack me. He had no reason to do. And besides, the panic button would bring a squad of deputies instantly." Kemper then reminded Lund, "Has it ever dawned on you that I'm a foot taller and weigh damn near twice what you do?" When Lund hit the panic button, it took several minutes for the guards to respond. Former FBI agent Robert Ressler had a similar interaction with Kemper. Bundled in the same interview room, Ressler hit the panic button and the guards didn't respond. Noticing his panic, Kemper chillingly told him, "If I went apeshit in here, you'd be in a lot of trouble, wouldn't you? I could screw your head off and place it on the table to greet the guard." The guards entered the room 30 minutes later. If you found this video informative, please consider subscribing to the channel and leave a like on the video. It really helps us grow. We're on the road to 400 subscribers. I hope you have a wonderful day.